Hey folks, welcome back to the vlog. My name is Brackin.
I'm Lindsay, and this is Tiny Notes from Home.
We hope to challenge, encourage, and inspire you on your journey with Jesus. And on our journey this week,
I'm going to be going out with the boys for the day.
And I'm going to stay home and work on a special project for Lindsay and share with you 5 pieces of advice for young husbands and fathers. Of course, if you're a wife of a husband or a child of a father, this advice could be helpful for you too. This should be exciting, so stay tuned to the end for the finished product.
Before I go, I just wanted to mention that we have a new song releasing today, and it's the second song on our Her Heart Sings album Volume 2. So please be sure to check that out, and thank you for everyone's support and feedback from our last song as well. So you can go over and check it out on our music channel, Sounds Like Rain, and we will leave a link for that in the description. So now I'm going to head out with the boys, but we'll check back in with you at the end of this video.
And while they go off on their little adventure, I thought I would take you with me on a little adventure of our own. There's a project that I have needed to do for Lindsay for a long time. We've been very busy, but I'm going to jump into it today. And along the way, I'm going to share with you 5 pieces of advice for young fathers and young families that I hope will be an encouragement to you. Before I share this advice with you, I have to acknowledge first that I am by no means a perfect husband or a perfect father. I'm still young myself. I still have young children, but these are my observations over nearly 15 years of marriage and having now 5 children with 1 on the way. I'm sure there's a lot that could be added to this topic, and there's a lot of things that I still have yet to learn. But with that in mind, let's jump into the projects and the advice. If you're just joining our channel, it might be helpful for you to know that we have recently moved into a 100-year-old house that we are living in and kind of renovating at the same time. We haven't really done a whole lot to the house because we have been building our Pilgrim Road studio, which is here on property. So all this time, Lindsay has been very graciously and very patiently using a camp stove for all of our meals. It has worked perfectly fine and we are very thankful for it. But today, finally, we are in a place where I can install a full-size range for Lindsay. Now, this whole kitchen is going to be gutted and remodeled just after the new year, and so what I'm doing today is very temporary. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is to install some new outlets over here. Fortunately, this is right next to the electric panel, and since this is temporary, I'm just going to stick one on the wall. But my first piece of advice for a young husband, a young father, is to submit yourself to the Lord. Without having Christ as a foundation in our hearts, there's no way that we can love and serve our family with our hands. The most important thing you can do as a young husband is to get in the Word and ask the Lord to help you be transformed from the inside out into the image of His Son Jesus. This has been probably the most difficult thing for me, is to just allow the Lord to work in and through me. It's not easy to humble ourselves, but this is the foundation for which all these other principles are built upon. This is my goal as a young husband and father, so why don't you join me as we go on to Lowe's and get some parts and materials for this project. Alright, so the next most important piece of advice I can share with you is to surround yourself with godly men. We need the wisdom of older, godly men who have been through the challenges that we're faced as young husbands and fathers. I usually look for older men who have at least some gray hair and a few teenage children that I would want my children to become like, and just surround myself with them. Make sure they're rooted and grounded in the Word and pick their brain as much as you can. All right, we made it to Lowe's. Let's get what we need. Aha. I found it. I found the spray foam. And my next piece of advice is to love your wife unconditionally. You know, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes my lovely wife, Lindsay, has some interesting thoughts and ideas about things that don't make sense to me. I don't fully understand her thoughts, her ideas, her fears. But it's my job not to fix her, but to love her as she is and to help her through any challenges that she might be facing. You know, and when we feel challenged by our spouse, that's not actually a bad thing. It helps to refine us, and it teaches us how to love unconditionally even when it doesn't make sense. Right now, Lindsay's love language is spray foam to seal up all the gaps and cracks in our house from the drafts, but we're taking care of those. So this one's for you, Lindsay. So we made it out of Lowe's. All right, we'll head back to the house. I'll see you there in a moment, and we'll pick up the advice and the project when we get there. G is for goat. G is also for great stuff. We love spray foam. So the next two pieces of advice I have for you, they go together. The first one is to be confident and firm in your convictions, but also gentle and gracious as well. If you're a man of zeal and passion, it's easy to get excited about what the Lord is teaching us, things we're learning in the faith from the scriptures, and how to apply them to our lives. It's very important to stand firm on solid biblical issues for your family. That could go for things like the way you use and consume media, or the types of causes that you support, how you spend your money, and a whole myriad of issues that fall under the category of good Christian conduct and righteous and holy living. So yes, search the scriptures, find these things, and stand firm on them, but do so in a gracious manner. And that leads me to our last piece of advice, number 5. Okay, so that's it. Both the machines are installed. Would you look at that? All in a day's work. So my final piece of advice for you, and this relates to the last one about being a man of conviction, is not to take yourself too seriously. We are just little tiny people on a great big planet with a great big God who sees things way beyond what we can see. It's easy to get caught up on the little things, and the little things are important, but they're not more important than relationships and feelings and things of that nature. So as you deal with your wife and your children and your family, make sure to be seasoned with grace, with mercy, being long-suffering and gentle and kind, not compromising the things that are important, but presenting them in a way that your family desires to follow along with you on this path and this journey called our Christian life. Looks like you made it back.
We made it back.
Okay, how was your outing?
It was good. We had a nice time.
Do you want to see what I did while you were gone?
I do. I'm excited.
Okay, let's go check it out.
Okay.
How do you feel about having a stove and a dryer now?
I am so thankful. thank you for doing that, and I'm so glad that you know how to fix things and do things.
I've been sharing with folks today advice on being a young husband or a young father. Do you have anything that you would like to share about that for the moms?
Well, just right on the spot there. Marriage and parenting is a journey, and when you first embark on it, it's going to probably look a lot different than what you expected, but just to allow God to work in your heart and to be patient with how things are, even if they're not how you expected, but just to let Him build it up and to see what beautiful thing He creates.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like renovating this old house. With that, we hope you guys are blessed this week. Please head on over to our music channel. I'll put a link right here for Lindsay's new song. As always, I'm just going to leave it hanging here for you to click and check it out. We really appreciate your support, your encouragement, your comments. So enjoy the video, and we will see you next week for yet another exciting adventure. Go ahead.